Why are so many people talking about squatters and squatters' rights?
A growing problem in the city.
Shattered glass and trash everywhere.
Squatters.
Squatters.
Who take advantage of laws that allow them to live rent-free as the lengthy court process plays out.
By the end of this video, we will hopefully have a better understanding of what squatter rights are, and we will see how the culture is responding. We're also going to see how one man specifically may have found the best solution to handle squatters. So the issue of squatting and squatters has become one of the top talked about issues in the country right now, and for good reason. The issue has garnered so much attention, it is constantly in the news and is being talked about all over social media. Both sides of the political spectrum obviously have their opinions on the matter, but it's actually more complicated than you may think. People like Trump, DeSantis, Mayor Adams, they've all chimed in. But first, we need to define what are squatters' rights and why they are so controversial. So a squatter is someone who occupies a property without legally owning it or having permission from the property owner. They often move into vacant, abandoned, or neglected properties. Over time, squatters can gain what's called adverse possession, which is a legal process that allows them to gain ownership of a property without the owner's permission. So here is a story of a Texas woman who left the state to take care of her sick mother and returned to find the squatter had taken over her home. The squatter did many things like turning her home into a drug den, selling her possessions in a yard sale, lots of damage. The damage done to the property is utterly appalling. She also had to go through a lengthy eviction process to remove the squatters. And this just goes to show it doesn't matter if you live in a red or a blue state, it's happening all around. This case was specifically in Texas.
So for those of you who've been following, I had a squatter in my house in Texas while I've been home taking care of my mom. And today I finally got my eviction done, only to find that pretty much everything I own has been stolen and that my house, well, I'll show you some video of how awesome it looks. So just starting with the front door, it used to be black. This lovely pile of trash instead. Yeah, that's a brand new mattress, or it was when I bought it last year. Here's where I used to have a refrigerator.
The commonality of these stories is that the homeowners all have an extreme hardship, which is sad. Anywhere from taking care of sick family members and coming home and returning to seeing stuff like this happening in their homes. With this woman, it is her sick mother, and we will see the other examples I have ready for later.
We made an appointment. I went back to Florida, and it turned out that she had stage 5 dementia. So I decided to move her out to Texas, and my sister agreed with me. So I was getting the house ready. I was having some painting done, and I had some handymen come in and out. And so I had told them, look, I need you to wrap up your work. I am going to go home and pack up my mother. One of the handymen, the one who was doing the painting, is the one who broke in. I guess because he knew I was going to be out of town for 2 or 3 weeks. And by the time I realized it, I was about to come home, and I called the police. It was like, hey, this person is not supposed to be in my house. They said, how long has he been there? I said, I don't really know. I've been gone about 2.5 weeks. And they said, okay, well, you'll have to have him evicted.
Someone said, as soon as you said you had a handyman doing stuff around the house, I knew it was the handyman. And you might be asking, why did it take 8 months?
Apparently, if they're there for more than 10 days, I have to have them evicted. They get several notices that are 30 or 60 days long to let them know that I'm serious when I tell them I want them to get out of my house.
So this is where the argument that the laws benefit the squatter more than the homeowner comes into play. A local news channel in New York gave out this tip to help people deter squatters.
You can do this, Bill. Look, this was $3.47 at Home Depot. Take a time-stamped picture of the sign. Most iPhones do this automatically.
Yeah. Someone said the reason for this is to give you legal cover so you can remove the squatters more easily. Put up the sign on your house and photograph it in case the squatters take it down. And this is the whole concept of squatters' rights. You have to prove that the squatter doesn't belong there, not the squatter has to prove that they belong there. Someone said works as well as these. Notice, gun-free zone. Guys, Dora the Explorer actually prepared us for this.
Here, let me try.
Hola. What the?
Someone said, I have a squatter who put those signs on my property, LOL. The squatter pulled the Uno reverse card here.
The Uno reverse. He's Uno reversed it. That's a first.
But I beg the question, how and why do these squatters have these rights to begin with? At what point do we question the squatter for proof that they actually live there? You could check lease statements, utilities, anything for them to prove that they actually live there. And the no trespassing sign isn't a surefire workaround. In this video, a squatter is caught on camera just removing the sign off the door after he breaks the door down. In Georgia, a property owner who left to take care of his sick wife returned to learn that interlopers had moved in and changed the locks on his home, and he was not allowed to kick them out. They broke into the home, rented the U-Haul, and moved all their stuff in. The owner tried calling the police, but they were told they have a fake lease, so they couldn't do anything, deeming it a civil matter.
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
It's just interesting that the burden of proof typically will always fall on the homeowner and not the squatter. With the case of the Georgia home, the squatter had a fake lease, but it doesn't seem like there was a process to verify that. I think the problem is that in the beginning, the word of the squatter is taken, which forces the homeowner into going into a lengthy and drawn out eviction. In this video, this man talks about how he figured out how to deal with home squatters.
Flash Shelton, who calls himself the squatter hunter.
A squatter took over his mother's house and she couldn't get rid of them because the police determined it a civil matter again and said it was illegal to kick him out or change the locks. So it's pretty clever. He basically had his mother lease the home to himself and then he moved in with the squatter.
I would have had a right as a leaseholder to go in, move in on him, put cameras on, and eventually lock him out, and that I could force him to civilly try to fight to get back into a property that he couldn't prove that he had a legal right to be in.
Someone said he took a squat on the squatters. This is called a double squat or a re-squat. Yeah, dealing with squatters is probably very annoying, so he turned the tables and put on the same performance. So how have states and politicians responded to the surge in conversation about squatters' rights? New York City Mayor Eric Adams is reviewing a bill that will look at squatters' rights. He actually does not believe people should be able to get into homes like this.
Do you support the bill?
I think that I sat down with some of the council members that introduced that bill. I don't believe a person should be in someone's home.
DeSantis is pushing the narrative that it is a blue state issue, but I actually don't think it's just a blue state issue.
What New York does, what California does, Florida will do the opposite. And so the squatter scam ends today with our legislation.
Again, some of these cases are happening in red states like Texas and Florida. If it wasn't a red state problem, then why would you need to make a bill addressing the issue in the first place? Trump obviously had to chime in.
If your constitutional rights have been violated, we will defend you. If you have illegal aliens invading your home, we will deport you.
The media ran with him mistakenly saying he's going to deport people who have squatters and not the squatters themselves who happen to be migrants that have illegally crossed the border. As far as illegal border crossings go, I believe he was referring to the Venezuelan TikToker that was going viral due to the videos he posted giving his comrades tips on how to invade unoccupied homes. There are actually many individuals like that TikToker who are on squatter forums and dark web pages who are giving tips and advice to people on how to get into homes like this. One occupation artist said they place a for sale rent sign on a property with a phone number attached to a burner cell phone. If there's no response, then the squatter deems it unmonitored and prime for possession. Many of them are going through real estate listing sites like Zillow or Trulia to look for homes that have been on the market for extended periods of time without any activity, and then they peruse them in person. One squatter suggested putting an orange cone in the driveway of a home and then coming a week later to see if it's been moved. So if you have a vacant home, be on the lookout. Join forces with your neighbors, have family members house it, park your car in the driveway when you're away so that way there's an illusion of someone being home. Basically do whatever you can to secure your homes, and hopefully the laws will change in the very near future.